Who doesn't love chocolate? I don't see any hands going up. I think nearly 99% of the world loves chocolate. And chocolate mousse is the king, I think, of bistro kind of desserts. It's really simple to do. Few little sort of components to it, but essentially it's pretty basic. We start off with our chocolate, a good quality dark chocolate. I prefer kind of like 55% to 64% maximum in cocoa solids. So something that's not too sweet, but not too bitter. And we're just gonna simply place that over a double boiler so the water can be boiling when you start, then I just turn it off and I just use that residual heat of the water to gently melt our chocolate. Straight away you can see the warmth of the bowl is starting to melt that chocolate. It melts at mid 40s to high 40s in temperature. So really you don't need a large amount of heat. So that's melting away, and here we have Tia Marie, kind of a coffee flavoured liqueur. You could add any other alcohol that you like. You could add Grand Marnier, triple sec, so if you like orange flavours, then you could add that. Anything alcohol, rum, vodka, well, gin, I was going to say gin, but maybe not gin. Here I've got some honey, I'm going to add that in, and I've got some coffee grounds here, just for an extra little bit. So this is a real pick-me-up dessert. You know, you've had your dinner, you're going into a bit of a food coma, you need to be revitalised, and that's where the coffee comes in. So I'm just going to steal a little bit of water, this to dissolve that instant coffee. Mix it all up. Coffee. I'll just combine all these liquids. So I've just got one container. We've got some egg yolks. So I've got 3 eggs in total. Egg whites separated, egg yolks. They're going to enrich in the chocolate mousse. I probably should have cut up that butter a little bit more. Into this nice clean glass bowl, I'm going to add all my egg whites. And what we'll do is we'll start whipping these. I'm just going to loosen them up a little bit. Now for this small amount, I'm going to do it by hand. It's not worth getting the machine out, going to all that effort to set up the machine, whip your egg whites and then put it all away. You just use one single bowl, just getting those frothy like so. Now thinking about the way I'm going to present these, you could, if you wanted to, put the chocolate mousse into piping bags and fill a glass, martini glass or a suitable sort of individual portion. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour it into one bowl, set it as a whole, and then I'm going to take nice quenelles out of it, some scoops, and just serve it on a plate with some fresh fruit. Very, very simple. I think with chocolate mousse, the simpler, the better. I suppose the danger when you're melting chocolate with the heat underneath it or boiling water is all these little fine pieces that are around the edge of the bowl. That's what's going to burn first, particularly if the flame comes out from around the pot and it's heating the exterior of the glass and not just the steam from underneath. That's where your chocolate's going to burn. So we always try and keep that edge nice and clean. The butter is almost melted and it's starting to get a nice sheen to it, a bit of a gloss. And that's the combination of the butter and the chocolate together. Okay, that's all of that melted. Now, I'm going to add the honey. We're going to add our liqueur and coffee in there like that. And you need to whisk this in. It'll change the chocolate a little bit. Sometimes it kind of sets and you've got to stir it and it looks like you've made a mess of it, but you haven't. Okay, because chocolate reacts to moisture, to water. It kind of tends to solidify. So sometimes you find that the texture will change, but just persist, give it a good stir. Now we're going to add our egg yolks. In they go. And you'll see that change in texture as well. So keep whisking. Now I'm going to whisk my egg whites up until they're a lovely soft peak. And this is the hardest part of the recipe, making sure that you whisk these up and you get lots of air into them. If you over whisk them, what you're starting to do is actually not incorporate air, but knock air out of your egg whites. So they'll get to a point where they've got maximum volume and any more whisking or agitation will start to knock the air out. And what you'll see is that your chocolate mousse ends up getting lumpy bits of egg white in them, which is not good. I think they're just about perfect. So that's soft peak. See the way I turn it over and it just kind of flops over? A bit like Hugh Grant's hair, just kind of foppish, not stiff. And they are perfect. We've got our cream, and that again is just whipped until it's sort of soft peak, almost stiff peak. And firstly, I'm going to take a portion of my cream, and I'm just going to quickly fold that or beat it into my chocolate, and then we do it again. So the first bit just tempers the chocolate. If we chucked it all in, the cold cream's going to shock the chocolate and it'll start to set it. And you'll end up with little bits of sort of gritty lumps in our mousse. Okay, we'll add the last bit of our cream. So it's quite deceptive. You start off with a small amount of chocolate, but by the time you've got your cream in there, then our volume from the egg whites, the chocolate mousse almost triples in size. So we've folded that through. We don't have to fold it completely through at this stage. Now we're going to add our egg whites in thirds as well. So a little bit in first, and we're going to just simply cut this in, trying not to lose too much volume in our egg whites. This is where you got a little bit Tai Chi with it all. Nice and slowly. So we cut a little bit of that in, then we'll add some more. And again, a little bit more chocolate Tai Chi. Folding gently, cutting it through. You can see it's lightening up. The egg whites just ever so gently melting into the chocolate. Just get a little bit more vigorous towards the end. The last bit of our egg whites. Yum! And our final kind of little fold. I think I've just developed a kung fu style. It's called chocolate mousse. We're just going to now let it fall gently. And you can actually serve it at the table in this, and people could serve themselves big spoonfuls. And there we have our chocolate mousse. We're going to tiptoe to the fridge without knocking any air out, and then let it set. So now we're going to finish off our wonderful chocolate mousse. I think the most simplest pairing is some lovely fresh berries. These strawberries, just look at those little strawberries. They're so radiant, firm, beautiful colour. We're just going to take the husk or the hull out of the strawberries, cut these up into little wedges. Just get the tip of your knife and go turn, 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 pull it out, and look how much strawberry you lose as opposed to something like this, and you lose all that strawberry. Now with blueberries, the fresher they are, the more dusty little hue they have over them. When a blueberry has that lovely little white powder coating over the top of it, it means they're really fresh. The less of that they have on, the older they are. I'll show you a trick. Ta-da! We just do that all the time in the restaurant. We'd have competitions. And these blackberries, I saw these over at John's shop, and I was like, wow, they look so plump. I need to have these for my chocolate mousse. I've got my water on, still from my mousse earlier, and we're just gonna warm the spoon. We'll get our chocolate mousse, and I'm just gonna take a nice curl of it like that. That's what we call a rocher. And we'll just bunch a load of these berries on the side, like this. Okay, so you've got all that wonderful freshness bursting in your mouth flavour, and then this rich, melting chocolate mousse. A little bit of mint on top, and as always, a dusting of fairy dust. There we have a berry-licious chocolate mousse, the perfect dessert.